The Irwin Toy Doll Bind. So everyone knows that Irwin Toy was the one that made the Sailor Moon dolls, at least for the English-speaking world, between the years of 1995 while to 2001 while. And everyone knows that the stands were the worstest things that was ever made by Irwin Toy. Every Sailor Moon doll made by Irwin Toy, no need of which mold or which craft they were working from, they could never make the stands work right. And most folks in the Sailor Moon world, at least doll wise, wear either boots or they wear shoes or high heel shoes. That's it. I mean, and these stands are so awkward that you gotta fight even to get dolls with high heel shoes to stand in their stands. And one or two things will happen. One, the doll will either be in the stand, but it won't be flawless. It'll be like bent over, leaning to one side, leaning to the other side. Or it will fall over and fall off the stand, which is most likely what will happen. And I think, and no one has ever said this, but I got a belief that whoever was making the stands for them was not the same team that was making the dolls. Yeah, I believe that. I believe there was this other team of Irwin Toy and their Eastland branch, whatever the Eastland arm, whatever that was one side's making the dolls, the other side's making the clothing, and the side making the dolls and making the clothing, well, they know what each side's doing. But the folks making the stands, well, they're not talking with the folks making the body. They're not even talking with the folks that are making the clothing. So this team sadly doesn't even ask, oh, how big are the feet are? Oh, they're that big? Well, then I better make the stands. I need to make the stands match up with the feet. Well, no, they don't even do that. They just go make a stand and say, oh, look, I made a stand. And at the end of the day, the stands only seem to work on dolls that wear boots. But even that's a little misleading. Because if you have Sailor Mercury or Sailor Quicksilver myself, then yeah, we're going to fit right in those stands. But if you got a doll like, let's say, Ruvius, well, he's got boots, but apparently his boots are more bigger than he's in our boots, so then even that doesn't work. So how do they make it so bad that the stands that were meant to hold the dolls up with the shoes that are high heel shoes, why is that so hard? And why couldn't they just make it where the stands would hold the dolls right? So the only workaround you have is either you go off and you give yourself other kind of doll stands, because that's the only way it'll work. And before I end this film, I know someone's going to say, well, what about Bandai? Oh, Bandai was even worse with their stands, because their stands were shaped around. And even if you did get the doll to go in the stand, it would bend over. So even Bandai didn't know how to make the doll stands right. And Bandai never knew how to make the stands right. And Bandai's the one that's had the longest deal with Toei to make Sailor Moon dolls going back as early as 1993. Why else? So, yeah, why? 1993 to now. So, at the end of the day, why were these stands so hard to make? Which I don't understand why they didn't match up. Why I had a hard time holding dolls that had shoes or high heel shoes, I don't know. So give me your guess of why this is. Because I would like to know what you think why Irwin Toys stands were didn't work well with dolls that wear shoes or high heel shoes. And I'll see you later.